Now we've definitely picked up on all the skills we need to proceed with extracting information about the local weather from the National Weather Service website. So let's take a look at what we will try to extract. Consider this a more practical example that could certainly come in useful whenever we want to know about forecasted weather. And seeing as I have just come back from my Californian road trip and missing it very much, I'm going to search for Los Angeles in the search bar here, which will take me to a page giving me the local forecast for Los Angeles. And if we look down the page here, we can see that there is an extended forecast which tells us the forecast for the next 3 or 4 days, both daytime and evening, with predicted temperatures and even a short description. So our goal is to pull this information into Jupyter Notebook in an easy to read data frame. Now that we've identified the page that we want to scrape from, we now need to inspect the page using our browser's DevTools. So seeing as I'm using Edge, I can go to my developer tools like so. We can now start navigating through the HTML file until we get to the point where we see the individual components for the different forecasts in this section. But rather than doing it manually, I want to show you a shortcut. What we can do is right-click on an element that we want to assess, so let's for example pick tonight. We can right-click and then click on Inspect. This will take us to the section in the HTML document in which it is included. So we can see here that the image is within a p tag, which is in a subclass named Tombstone Container, which is part of this forecast tombstone class, and this ends up feeding into the 7-day forecast container. So what we can derive from this is that all of the forecasts in this section would feed into an outermost element. This ends up being a div tag with the ID 7-day forecast. Now if I hover over each forecast tombstone li element, and subsequently expand each one to the next level, we can see that each element is contained in a div container with the class name Tombstone Container. Now this is a great start and will prove very useful in our next step for obtaining this information. We'll keep progressing with this train of thought in the next video, so I'll see you there.